Yes, guys, we are back again. Got Lamin in the building. So, Counterattack podcast with myself, Daps.
No Spence, but Lamin.
Lamin is here. So, today we've got, in fact, first, keep liking, subscribing, sharing, all of that good stuff. And, yeah, wherever you're watching, keep, commenting, keep liking, like I say, keep sharing it. We've got another guest for you today. We have, does he still play for Scotland? I don't even know if he still plays for Scotland. But, former Liverpool, Blackpool man, currently at Reading. He's been at Stoke. We've got Charlie Adam. So, the guy with a wand of a left foot. So, Let me just get him in. And then we'll be good to go. You ready, love? Hi, Char.
Hi, you alright?
I'm good, man. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, it's good. Not close to starting again, which is good. It's been a long 3 months or so. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, would you say this has been like apart from like any injury layoffs, this is probably like your longest bit away from football?
Yeah, well, 12 weeks is a long time. The longest I think I've had is 7 or 8 weeks summer holidays. But this is like a long time away from the game. But to be fair, I've probably trained as hard as I would if it was like a pre-season. I've sort of used it as a mini pre-season, mentally and physically as well, to try and get a little bit fitter and things like that. So it was, I used it in a different way than an actual lockdown. Do you know what I mean? So it was good that way, and it was good for me to spend a few weeks at home as well, because obviously my kids and wife and that live in the north, and I'm in London, 4 days a week on my own. So it was good because it's the first time I've been away from home really in my whole career, and it was good to spend time there. So it is what it is, and we're back hopefully rolling now.
Yeah, how's that transition for you in regards to being away from home? Because if it's the first time it's happening and you're at the back end of your career, that normally happens when you're a lot younger. What's that been like for you?
It's been tough because I've got 3 young kids, but one lives in Scotland, so he doesn't live regular with us. But I've got a 6 and a 3-year-old, and it's for them it's a big change because I'm not there. Not even when I was at Stoke, I still lived in Blackpool, but I was travelling every day to Stoke. This is just a big difference. I'm away 4 days a week really, and it's been tough. But we're football is your job, and we felt it was right to keep kids at school, and that's how we've adapted to it. But no, it's been okay so far, and hopefully we can keep that for the next 9 games, and we'll see what happens next season.
I mean, I've got to say though, like, you are on some training like regime, because you look really trim right now.
No, to be fair, like I said, I worked hard and looked after myself, but a lot of people think that this is me. This is me normally. This is me. Like I've not lost any weight. It's just people think because of how I look on a pitch and my running style, I look heavy and I look unfit. But if you look at the stats and what I produce in the games or in training, I'll be in the top 5 players every day, and even our stats for the games will be in the top 5. It's just probably on the eye I don't look fit, and I don't because I've got from the waist down I look quite heavy and big. But I've had a good career at it, and I seem to have done all right.
Yeah. Would you say that's something that's not plagued you, but something that you've heard quite a bit then?
Oh yeah, I hear it a lot. People say to me like, he's slow, and I'm not sure if he's fit enough. But listen, if you want to look at the stats and you want to look at the numbers that I produce in training in the games, then they're actually quite good. So it's sometimes you just got to ignore what you see in the eye, and sometimes you got to dig a little bit deeper. But it is what it is, and I've done okay in the game so far. So hopefully that can continue.
Yeah. So you're back from lockdown. You're back in training. Saturday is when you guys are back. How are you feeling?
No, I'm excited because obviously Stoke, it's a big game for us. The 4 points behind us, we're 8 points away from the relegation zone, but we're 9 across the playoffs. So if we could start well and we can get a good win, then you never know what could happen. But obviously, when you face your old club, it's obviously going to be difficult. They got good players. I still believe that they've lost the best player in Joe Allen. That's something that could be a boost for us. But we got to concentrate on ourselves, and if we can apply ourselves right and we've got the right attitude and the right mentality, now we're causing problems. Yeah,
is playoffs still in you guys' mind?
Absolutely, because I've been there before, and I keep saying to the lads, it's not over until it's impossible. You can go on a run of winning 4 or 5 in a row, and everybody else is struggling. There is a lot of teams in between us in the playoffs, but if you win a few games, you never in this league anyway. You don't know what could happen, and we just got to be mentally right. We've got to be focused, and hopefully, we've got some quality players in our team that can hurt teams. So hopefully, on the next 9 games, they can produce and we can get higher up the league.
Yeah. What would you say it is for you? Like, what's it like playing against like your old club? Like, are you going there with mixed emotions, or is it just, you know what, I enjoyed my time there. It is what it is now. It's time to play football.
We've already played at Stoke, and it was tough. But I want to win. I had 7 years there, but I want to win. I want to win the next game. It's it's nothing against them. It's the next opponent, and that's how I feel. And that's the same Saturday. 3 points is important for Reading. That's all that matters. What's gone is past now, and listen, I love my time there. Good supporters, good owners, and good staff. But no, there's I'm looking forward to getting a win, hopefully, and pushing us up the table and seeing where it takes us.
Yeah, for you,
Charlie. Just a quick one.
Go on.
Let me just jump in quickly. So, Charlie, obviously, you mentioned about coming back, obviously from lockdown, etc. Does this feel like it would feel if you was sort of like, when you just come back from pre-season? Is this how you feel now? Do you feel like you're fresh? Do you feel like you're kind of like different? Or because the season's not done, is it?
No, the season's not done, but I think this is different than a summer holiday, because we had to try and stay a little bit. We had to stay fitter than probably we would have in a summer holiday, because we always expected a return date. So it was never ever thought that we were going to just go and have 5 or 6 weeks doing nothing and then come and have 2 weeks. But we were always trying to stay a little bit fit, hoping that we'd get a date. Then we got I think we were about 4 or 5 weeks in. And then the manager said, listen, have 10 days, 2 weeks off. Then we got 2 weeks off. And then the lads, then we had to start back doing our own thing for the next 2 weeks. And then we've been back training now, 3 weeks, 4 weeks now. So it's been good. We're ready to go, and hopefully that's we start sharp and we can get a win.
Yeah. What's been the whole situation like for you? Because this is your final season, right? Well, not final season, but this is, you signed on for 1 year. So your contract. Yeah. What's it been like? Was it a no-brainer to continue to play? Because we've seen a couple of players come out say, no, I don't want to play, blah, blah, blah. But was it a no-brainer for you to just come out and play?
Let me put my individual thing on the table. For me, I'm 34 years of age. My career is, it is coming to the end. It's, I've got 2-3 years left, whatever. I might play till longer. But the lads that have come out and said they don't want to play, if you look at it, for instance, the name Lyle Taylor, he's 30 years of age. He's out of contract. He's going to get a big move to club because he's done well at Charlton. Ryan Fraser's just come out saying he doesn't want to play. He's out of contract at 26, 27, probably going to go to, you would probably say, one of the top, the top clubs in England, from Bournemouth. So I see their point of view. So, but my point is, I'm 34, love playing the game, keen to play. I feel safe, and that's the important bit. And I just think that, why would I not want to take that risk? Yeah, injury is part of life, but I could walk down the stairs tomorrow and go over my ankle or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And that might end my career. It's just how it is. And every individual case is different, and we see it all different. But my mentality is, no, I've got a contract here. I want to play. I want to go and finish the season well and see where it takes me for next season, because I want to keep playing football.
Yeah, great answer. Bloody great answer there. But Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's just like you said, it's just everybody's different, and they're getting advised differently. But like you said, I'm 34. It's about playing as many games as you can now. Do you know what I mean? It's not about, I've got nothing lined up for next season. These lads, I've got probably something lined up for next season. So
yeah,
it's easier for them to say, well, I'm not going to play, and they might be better contracts or whatever. So it's a bigger risk for them than it is for me, and that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I totally agree with you there. It's on an individual basis, and you just got to take it each case as it comes. But you mentioned that you haven't got anything like for next season. Does that play on your mind as a player where you haven't got anything lined up for next season, or is it something that you just push to the back of your mind and just deal with it? Deal with it then.
My thing is, and I had this situation at the start of the season. I feel that my CV is good enough for it's there to be seen. I put it to the back of my mind. I've got 9 games to go, and what will happen next season will happen. I'm sure that there is clubs out there that will be needing a little bit of experience and want somebody. So, it's I'm there to get. I just wait and see what happens and what will pop up, and if it's right for everybody, the family, the club that they want me to go, or maybe even Reading again, then it's a no-brainer. It's about keep playing and enjoying it, because you're a long time retired, as you could see with speaking to people like Yuli and that. Once it's gone, you can never get it back. So you've got to try and keep playing as long as you can.
Yeah, and like, how do you adjust in your mind to, you're at that point in your career where your role within the team might change. How do you as a player adjust to that? Because, if we go back to Blackpool, let's say, you're playing week in, week out. Stoke, you're playing week in, week out. You come now at this point, and your role, it will change. You might become more of a squad player. How do you adjust?
Yeah.
How do you adjust with that?
Well, mentally, I understand how it is, and that's by talking to the manager and going. But, I still have the attitude and the dedication to that. I still believe in myself. I'm the best player at Reading. That's how I feel that, and I still believe I still believe I should be playing every week. But the manager makes that choice that, maybe he sees something else. But you respect the decision of what a manager does. But what I do is I always, if I'm not playing, I always try and do a little bit extra than what I would do in training. Keep my levels, because when I do get an opportunity to come back in, I'm fit, I'm sharp, I'm ready to go. It's no case I've not played for 4 weeks and I've just done the same training as everybody else. Yeah. So instead of doing that a little bit, I might just on a Tuesday or a Thursday do an extra few runs that just tops the fitness up and keeps going. And it seems to have worked over the last few years, and not something that I've done, but my mentality is that I still think I'm the best player there, and I think I should be playing every week. But the manager makes that decision, and that's how I've always been.
Just on that one, Charlie. Yeah, just on that one. So obviously that's something that you do. Yeah, and obviously you're around, obviously younger players and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Do you see that younger players take that proactive step as well? Like, because obviously only 11 players can play, and then obviously three subs or whatever it might be. So do you see that younger players are equally kind of?
I see some, but I see others that are just happy to coast in and then go in the car and go home, and they think that the world owes them something instead of going and grabbing it, by the scruff of the neck and making it hard for everybody. But you've got younger lads who are dedicated. They want to be better than what they are, and they want to improve. But that's just the mentality of the players. I think the mentality of the players nowadays, I think they're softer than what they used to be when coming up. And I believe that comes from the senior players. I think the senior players should be more demanding on the younger players. Not just because it's not a bullying tactic. It's when the younger players sit down and realise what senior players are trying to do. They're trying to help them and trying to progress them and make them better, because we've seen it all. I've got 16, 17 years of experience, and you've got 18, 19-year-old kids that never ask you a question. Like, why would you ask senior players a question, or what do you think of this, and what do you think of that, or what should I work on, or I just think there's a mentality of, you know, how quick can they get off the pitch? How can they go and get on the games, Xboxes and all that? And it's just, I think the players are different nowadays. But, you know, hopefully the penny will drop one day for them, and they'll realise that the good senior players are there to help them, and you know, the standard that they should set for themselves should be, you know, looking at good senior players. Good, if you get the right senior players, they'll set the standard for your club. And that's what I try to do at Reading. I try and set the standard if I can every day. If it's in a passing drill or if it's in a possession, it's you know, I see the levels you go down. The amount of times that they turn the ball over is incredible. But there's no reaction to when you lose it. It's just oh, it's all right, it might come back. But instead of in the Premier League, you look at the best teams, your Man City's, your Liverpool's, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid. They go straight after it. And that's why they're the best players, because all of a sudden, within 5 seconds, they've got the ball back. And that's why I think so. It's I still believe that top senior players can do a lot more for these players as well.
And it's so interesting that you said that, because this has been a conversation on this podcast quite a bit. You know the mentality, and you know, between the older players and the younger players. And do you think that comes down to, like you said, the senior players only, but the fact that there's also just a lot more distractions for them, and maybe they get given a lot way too soon?
Oh, absolutely. Like, you know, you look at now these younger players, the first thing they do is when they get in from training, check the phone, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, you know, all these things. And that's the world we're living in at the moment. And that is it. And I always say to our younger kids at 18, 19 that are under 18s or training with themselves, just come and watch the first team train. Mm-hmm. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy. It's not, you know, you're not trying to come and watch how the top players come and they train every day. They're at it every day, and learn from them. And that's what I tried to say. It's not an embarrassment. You shouldn't be embarrassed being able to ask questions. I just think that the easy option for these young kids nowadays is just to get in the car and, you know, go and play on the computer box and whatever. But no, listen, I'm not mocking it. There is times where you have to do it, but, you know, I just think, you know, why are these younger players not coming to the senior lads and asking them questions? And that's what I always tried to do when I was younger, was, you know, look at the best players in training. What were they doing different from everybody else? But this is the world we're at the moment. But hopefully that'll change.
I was going to say, just quickly on that one, right? So what do you think's changed then? If the senior players, because I've heard it said a lot, and that the senior players set the precedent for the changing room, and that kind of filters down. And when you get younger players that come into the changing room, they instantly either have to buy into the culture, so they get where they're, I suppose, quote unquote, their places. But what's changed then? Do you think that maybe younger players are like less receptive to that, or do you think maybe some of the senior players have maybe not gone and stamped their authority on it a little bit more? Or
I believe that managers now don't want senior players. No senior players. I think they're looking for younger players now. You know, it's a young man's game. You know, do you want 33-year-old, 34-year-old in your dressing room, or can you have a 27, 28-year-old? I just think if you get the right senior players there, that's what I think. I think that there's not enough managers. You know, you should have a core of senior players where you can get the right ones and you can be an influence in your dressing room, even when they're not playing. So it is important. But, you know, these young lads are, you know, they're good players nowadays. They are good players. But if they really want to make it, you know, there's free advice out there. You know, if you want to see, and you can't buy it really. You know, so hopefully it'll turn. But no, we'll see how it goes.
Are you planning on going into coaching one day?
No, I'm desperate to get in. I love it. I love to coach. I love to try and get, because I'm down here once on my own. I try to get a game at least once a week. If it's probably maybe a Wickham or, you know, somewhere local, I'll try and get a game once a week. Go and watching something live to get out and watch the games. I'll watch the games on the telly. But coaching something I'm interested in. You know, I'm reading books at the moment about it, and you know the top managers, Ancelotti, Klopp, you know, Pep and Alex Ferguson, people like that, and taking quotes for them and taking things and what they want. And like you say, I'm one for asking questions. I've always done it all my career, and speaking to managers that I played with, and you know, just asking advice, and you know, different things, and that's what I think, that that it's there to be used, the knowledge and taken on board. So yeah, it's something I'm looking forward to doing. Hopefully, when I do finish and see where it goes.
Yeah, for you as a player, what's your favourite type of manager? Because you've played under some really known and good managers. So Pulis, Hughes, what's the other one I'm thinking of? Pulis, Hughes, Dalglish, Holloway. So what's your management style that you prefer?
Well, I like discipline. I like, if it's 11 o'clock start, you got to be on the pitch at 5:02. I like to be early. I like to be, programmed. But it's about laughing and joking and having a training and a smile and having a freedom to go and enjoy it. But express yourself. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Just don't make the same mistake 2-3 times in a game.
Yeah.
It's like, for instance, if you look at these younger players now, a Grealish who can get on the ball and go and have a freedom to go and play and express himself. It's, Zaha. People say Zaha's frustrating, but I love watching him. I think he plays with a smile on his face. He enjoys it. He does these tricks now. But the biggest thing is he will work hard for the team as well. And they're the type, that's the type of way I want to play it. Fast flow manager that wants to be on the front foot, but also allows you to go and express yourselves and do what you feel and play to your best capabilities.
Yeah, no, I could definitely, hearing you talk, I can definitely see the coach in you. That's what I thought I'd ask.
It's something I'm passionate about, and I enjoy it. And there is no better buzz than a Saturday. And once that game's gone, once you retire, like you said, you can't get it back. So the second best thing will be either management or a coach. So you always want to be the game, and that's what I'd want today. But no, it's still a few years off. I feel good, and hopefully then can get a few results before that.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned that you're feeling good, and you still got a good couple of years in you. Very quickly, I saw that there was talk. I don't know where the talk came from or anything, but you obviously started off your career at Rangers. Would that be something? Would that be something that you would actually, look to do, finish your career at Rangers as well?
Listen, if that, I said before in pulling it, like at my age, it's probably not going to happen, but you can never turn it down. It's one of the biggest clubs in Europe. It's an incredible club, and yeah, it'd be hard to turn down. So that's where I am, and let's say it's a dream that. Listen, I started there, and if there was an opportunity to finish there, it would be amazing. But I don't think that would happen. But let's say, football is football. It's a strange thing.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, because obviously you've played with Gerrard and he's now manager there. So, so some people might look at it and just think it's probably as easy as just putting in a phone call like, Steve, sign me up. Get the bands together.
Wow.
Call him up.
I wish it was that easy. If it was that easy, I'd be on the phone to him every day. But no, listen, they've obviously got the players that they want to get, and they need a direction to go, and younger players. And listen, it's going to be big
experience, Charles.
Is that what you think? Yeah, I think the same. But no, it's one of them. Listen, they come so close, but obviously the way the season finished for them this year was disappointing. Yeah. And they got a big one next year. They need to stop 10 in a row. The pressure's on them, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. In regards to Rangers and Celtic and the battle that goes up and down with them, what do you think? As a fan, as a spectator, Rangers need going into next season, because you can see that Stevie has come and he's bridged the gap already. That's a given. Like, what do you think they need more?
They need consistency. They need to find a level of consistency. When you're at Rangers, you need to win every week. Celtic's the same. You have to win. They've got that. Celtic have got that used to winning games at the squad. Over the last 6-7 years, Celtic squad's not really changed. Rangers squad's changed a lot in a few years under, Caixinha brought a lot of players in. Then obviously Stevie's brought the players in, and there's been a turnover of players really. They just need a consistent basis, and if they can get that, they'll get the players on the pitch consistent, and they'll have a right good chance. One or two quality players will add to that, and if they can, then they'll be a force next season. It will be tough. Celtic are a great team. They've got momentum, but it's when you're at Rangers, you've got to handle that pressure, and it's up to the lads now to try and handle that pressure and go and get the consistency that they can find, because they've done it in Europe. They've beat some big teams in Europe as well. So if they can transform that into the Premier League, then it'll be great.
Yeah, looking at Rangers, for me, I love Aribo. I think Aribo is so good for them, man. And like you as a fan, what are your thoughts on him as a player?
He's a good player. He's a ball carrier, and he can hurt you as well with pass. He's a good player. Seen him a couple of times, Charlton. Thought he was really good. And like you say, he started off really well at Rangers, and then the inconsistency started to creep in a little bit. And that was everybody really after the New Year, Christmas time. So if they can get that performance from August or September when league starts, right through the season, the gap will be definitely closer than what it is,
Yeah. 1 second, I think my headphones are playing up. I need to take these out.
Yeah.
1 second.
We've still got you, Daps, don't worry.
You can still hear me, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think the headphones are playing up. So also on that Rangers, the Old Firm, what is that like? Because it just looks so crazy.
Nah, it's for me, it's the best game. Like, the atmosphere is incredible. Celtic Park and it's hard to, when you say 5 meters away from each other, it's hard to even hear your teammates. It's a great game. The atmosphere, there's no better feeling. The biggest thing about when you go to Celtic Park, there's probably around, I'd say 1,000 people there when you get off the bus, probably even more. But when you win, you'll be lucky if there's 20 there. Do you know, there's nobody there after the game outside, so it's brilliant. It's one of them. And but like I say, if they beat you, they're all hanging there and they're giving you a bit. But listen, that's part of the game, and it's a wonderful game. And I'm fortunate enough, I've played in a few of them, and we won a few, but we lost a couple as well. So no, they're great games. And let's say they're two big clubs. They're worldwide brands, and it's a shame what's happened to Scottish football, but hopefully they can pick up in the next year or so and get back to the levels that they can.
Yeah, if you had to pick atmospheres between the Old Firm and the Merseyside derby.
No, the Old Firm.
You said that with ease. Mate.
Yeah, listen, the game, the Merseyside derby is a great game and the atmosphere is good, but there's so much to the Old Firm game outside of the game. The religious thing and everything. It builds up, and the whole week before, it's all they talk about is Rangers and Celtic, and it's the atmosphere doesn't compare. 60,000. At Celtic Park, 50 odd at Ibrox. It's a quality game. I'm fortunate enough I played in a couple.
Yeah. One that's easy to get out for, yeah.
What's that?
One that's easy to get out for. You don't need motivation for that.
You don't need many motivations for that, because if you win, it's the best week after it. If you lose, it's a tough week. Do you know what I mean? Because both sides are giving you a bit of stick. So it's now when you win, it's great, and it makes it a little bit easier the week after. So it's they're amazing games, and if anybody gets an opportunity to go and sample it, you've got to take it, because the atmosphere is incredible.
Yeah. So I mentioned Liverpool. And obviously you played at Liverpool, which is another massive club. Did that move come as a surprise to you?
Well, yeah. Listen, Liverpool's a great club, and it's a club. It's a global club, and when I was at Blackpool, it was a massive surprise when they come in for me. But I'm very honoured and appreciative that I got the opportunity to wear the Liverpool jersey. I'm a part of a select few that's actually done that. Not many players get the opportunity. And I think I played about 35, 36 games for Liverpool over the season, and felt I'd done okay. And when a new manager comes in, there's obviously there needs movement for other players to come in, and unfortunately, I choose to move to Stoke and wanted to play more regular games.
Yeah, I was wondering why you decided to move on after a year. Was it literally just because of a new manager? Did he come in and just say, you know what?
He come in and told me that Liverpool needed the money, that they had to sell me, which I knew that in the back of my mind it's not true. But listen, he wanted to change, and he wanted to bring other players in, which he did. And that's football, you know what I mean? I just made the decision. I could have sat there and picked up my money and sat there and not contributed if he felt I wasn't going to play and just sat in the stand. But I just made the decision that I had to go and play, and I done that, and I made the move. And you know, it was a move in the end that I really enjoyed. Stoke was a great club for me and my family, and had 7 wonderful years there, and let's say good people. Just unfortunate we got relegated, and yeah, it was sad the way it ended, really.
How does that conversation work, Charlie? Like when a manager pulls you and says, "Look, you know, potentially we're gonna have to, we're looking at offers for you." How does that work in that sort of moment when you just sat there?
It was strange because I played in the Europa League for Celtic, Liverpool against Hearts.
Careful.
and yeah, I know. And then I got told, they pulled me in the next day saying, "Listen, you're not going to play much. You know, there's been a bit, you know, Stoke have offered some money for you. We've accepted the bid, and you know, we need to sell you because we need the money." And listen, looking back, you know, I just felt that it wasn't right for me. But I made the decision, a footballing decision, that I had to play, and I wanted to go and play, and I'd done that. And at the time, it was right, but probably in hindsight, could you have sat there for another year? And you never know what could have happened. Possibly, yeah. But football was more important, getting out on the pitch on a Saturday and playing, and I done that, and you know, I couldn't change it. It was a good decision because Stoke's it's a great club.
You played with some good players at Liverpool, even within that year. So, and when you look at someone like Jordan Henderson, could you tell just by playing with him that he was going to go on to become Liverpool captain?
Well, when I seen him, he had a mental strength of, you know, he was going to improve. He was 19, I think, when he signed for Liverpool, or he was relatively a little bit. I think he was 19, 20, something like that. And he just, like you say, bided his time. And he was one as well they tried to get rid of. You know, they're trying to do a swap deal for him and Clint Dempsey for Jordan to go to Fulham.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that.
And yeah, that was the last day of the window. And Jordan said, "Nah, I'm not going." He says, you know, "I've come from Sunderland." You know, similar situation. You say, "I'm not going there because I don't want to. And I've worked so hard to get to Liverpool. I want to stay." And then all of a sudden, the penny drops for him, and he plays a few games, and then look at him now. You know, he's going to Champions League winner, England. You know, played for England, captained England, captains Liverpool, and he's going to win the Premier League. So life can change, and it's just the right time, right place. But no, he's a great guy, and you know, I'm delighted for him that he's going to win that Premier League because, like I say, he's a nice guy, nice family as well. His father, you know, when he got on really well with my dad when he used to come to the games and that. So it's great to see, and it is what football is. You know, it's a matter of opinions and sticking to your beliefs. You know.
Yeah, and with you obviously also played. I was going to mention another 2 players, Luis Suarez, because not often we get someone who's played with someone like Luis Suarez. What was he like? Was he just because obviously it was in the first year or 2 where you played with him, and then he obviously kicked on a lot more.
Yeah, so he come in January before I signed in the summer, and then I had 1 season with him. Just sheer mental strength of, you know, wanted to be the best player, hungry, was nasty, and would look after himself. And him and Carragher would have a set 2 together. We'd kick lumps at each other, but on a respectful way. And he just wanted to be the best player. He would just, you know, you knew he was a good player, but obviously when I left, he just took his game to a different level. He just, you know, all of a sudden become one of the best number 9s in the world. And I still believe he is one of the best number 9s in the world. Doing that job, how he does it at Barcelona is incredible. And listen, his goal scoring record at Barcelona speaks for itself, but phenomenal player. And also a great guy as well. Like, you know, he was never liked to have a laugh and a joke with everybody, liked to be involved in the games. So no, he was great, and you know, it's great to see him do so well, and you know, top player and great guy.
What about Raheem Sterling? Could you see him going on to, you know, because again he was very, very young when you were there. But
the thing about Raheem was when Raheem was really young and was very slight, quite he was really quick. He was quick. A good player. He was 16, 17 when I was there. Not the biggest, as in physically, but you know, then going on comparisons. If you look at how Jordan Ives built, got all the talent, and how different and how different the careers have gone. Do you know what I mean? Like Raheem has just gone boom, and Jordan's just like he's had a few issues off the pitch, and you know things like that. And I hope that because he's a great kid, Jordan, I just hope he can sort his mind and get his game back, because he can be an asset to any club. But like you say, Raheem just listen. I knew he was a talent, but then he just flourished. I remember everybody saying, "Oh, Man City paying 50 million for this young kid. What are they doing? It's a waste of money." And if you look at it, you know, if they can get 10 years for 50 million, it's 5 million quid a season. What a steal it is! Because
great business.
It's great business. He's paid that 50 million back, no problems. You know what I mean? But he's just took his game to a different level, on and off the pitch, and how he's the marketing side of himself, and how his team have looked after him, and now he's producing on the pitch. And you know, I still believe he can go to a different level again. I still believe that he can be the top players in the world. You know.
Yeah, I definitely think he can be. But when you're at Liverpool, and you were there during the time of Dalglish and Steven Gerrard, like, is there a sense of like they almost just not run the club, but the influence on the club is so massive? Do you feel that when you're there?
Oh, you feel the influence of the club because, you know, the supporters and, you know, going abroad, you know, it's all about Steven Gerrard, it's all about Kenny Dalglish. Liverpool's a massive club, but they don't walk around as if like they own the club or that. They're just humble people. They respect it. You know, it's not their fault. They were good. They're good players, and so people love them. They just got on their daily basis. You know, it's you know, speaking to them in the dressing room would be like speaking to my mate. It's just a conversation that you have. You don't see any difference. There's no arrogance. There's just a calm mental strength that they know they're the good players. They want to be the best players, and that's what the best players do. You know, they've just got that mentality that they're on it every day, and they just don't drop the standards from the top level. And they're it's amazing to be around them. You know.
Would you say that's what it? Fun.
No, I was just going to say, you mentioned like mentality and mental strength of a few of these players, right? Would you say that that's like one of the most important things in terms of being able to not just be a professional football player, but also be able to play at that level? Like you mentioned it with obviously Jordan Henderson, you mentioned it with Stevie, with Raheem as well a little bit. I mean, is that sort of like what you think like the key ingredient then?
Absolutely. You need to be mentally strong. You have to, because when you're playing at a top club, you're going to have your critics. If you drop below that, you know, if you drop below that by 1%, there's always somebody ready to just throw the hammer at you, criticise you in the press or whatever. You've got to be able to mentally get used to swap that. And even when you're having a tough time, it's how you get out of that tough time. How do you get through that period? And because we all had the tough times in the career, but it's how you get out the other side. And strong character, good people around you, they help. And you know, your talent will shine again, and that's how it is.
I was going to say that. How does one get that mental strength? Because is it something that you just have, or is it something that you can actually develop? Do you think?
I think it's something you can develop. You can have it. You can. Then you just keep playing your own game. You keep doing the right things. You trust in your coaches, or you trust in your teammates that what you're doing is the right thing, and the process will come, and your performances will change. You know what I mean? It's you know, and if you are having a bad time, you just go and you speak to the right people. Like you say, you speak to your manager, speak to your players, your teammates, and try and get them to understand where you're at or what you're doing, and believing that, you know, you're a good player. Your talent will come there. Your confidence will come back. Just keep doing what you're doing, and it'll turn. And you know, talking about these lads, if you look at Raheem, it's from where he was when he first went to City to now, it's night and day. And you know, phenomenal player, and he's a joy to watch.
Yeah. And on the last bit on Steven Gerrard,
Yeah.
What was it about him that set him apart from everyone else?
What sets the best players from the good players are the ones that can, when your team's having a tough team, they can go and pick. They pick a special. There's a special moment in the game that they could change a game for you in the blink of an eye, and he can do that. He's got the aura. He can ping a pass that might set up a goal. He drives his team. A shot, an assist or something could just change the game. And that's what I think the personality of these players have got. Do you know what I mean? And that's the aura that they have, that when your team's having a tough team, they drag it. They get the game by the scruff of the neck, and they go, and the top players can win you the game. And that's what separates the top players, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so you've now left Liverpool. You've gone on to Stoke, and how has it changed your life, especially like since finding out that you're parched? How has it changed your life, especially since finding out that you're parched?
Oh, it's not changed my life, that. No. Oh, it does. This gets me. People just keep asking me questions about it. But it was a surprising one for Crouchy. But listen, it's a bit of fun. It's one of the lads, you know. It's like I was saying about asking questions. You know, you don't seem to know that you're doing it, and you know, because I'm so involved in the game, I want to know about the coaching. It's a habit that you ask questions, and obviously the lads thought it was a laugh and a joke, and then all of a sudden it end up in his podcast, and I'm the one. So it's listen, it's great fun, banter around the lads, and I'm always up for a laugh and a joke, and I took it well, I think.
I hope so. What was he like as a player? Was he always just on banter?
Who?
Peter Crouch.
Oh yeah, he'd always love a laugh and a joke, and he's one of them. But he did. I believe he never got the recognition for his technical ability. He's better than what a lot of people. You know, some of the goals he scored. You know, size 14 feet. And to control, and he's you know what I mean. He was technically very, very good. So no, it was he was great to play with, because me and him, we had a little bit of an understanding. He, you know, because of my passing range and things like that, and you know, I could find him anywhere on a good diagonal or a cross or whatever. And you know, he's a top guy as well. And that's why I say talk about the top players. You know, they're down to earth. They enjoy your company and things like that. And I was playing golf with him the other week, so you know, and still the same. Want to laugh and a joke, and loves taking the mickey as well. So now he's a great guy, and let's say, seeing he's making a TV career now, he's going well. Yeah.
You mentioned that you could, you know, find him, you know, with a diagonal or whatnot. Like, your technical ability is what everyone like knows you for. How much work, like, would you say it's a natural thing to you, or would you highlight just how much work went into you developing your tech?
Listen, there is aspects of it. It is natural ability that I can pass it, and I can, you know, my passing ability or things like that. But I worked hard, you know, younger, and still do now. Try and do a little bit every day after training, just, you know, a little bit of passing or shooting or things like that, just to keep it going. And you know, you can never get bored of doing a little bit extra after every session. And it's just something that I've always been able to do. And you know, when you've got somebody like Crouchy in there that's good in the air and can score goals, you know, it's you know, when you can stick it in the box from many positions, it's always great to have, you know.
Yeah. And when you scored like against Chelsea, let's say, that's the one I'm sure everyone always asks you about. Is that something you automatically do look up to see? Because you know you got it in your locker. Is that something you look out for?
Yeah, always. The thing is, because I tried it a few times and it never come off, the goalkeeping coach at Stoke, Andy Quay, we always got into a thing where sometimes he'd say to me before the games, listen, just have a look at the goalkeeper. But I do my own work. I try and look at the goalkeepers myself before, if they're doing anything different, even for like, you know, free kicks or corners, where if I could put it in a certain area, they might not want to come or anything like that. Or, you know, sometimes don't like to dive on his left side. He's a bit weaker that side or something like that. So I try and do my homework that way. But I always knew Courtois. I've seen him at Atletico and how Chelsea played up from the back. He wanted to come high because the top goalkeepers do. If you look at Ederson now at Man City, he's never in his box. He's always, only 10 yards. Yeah, he's always 10 yards behind the defence because he wants to be that option. He's the 11th player, so they've got a man extra than everybody else. So Courtois was like that at Chelsea. He'd always want to come out and play. And fortunate for me, I seen him off his line and I had to go and it went in.
Did you ever see when, I think it was Michael Owen on BT Sport.
I've seen it, yeah.
Michael Owen on BT Sport and he was just not having it.
He says, he's like, that's not a skill. He said, and Steve McManaman went, right, me and you couldn't even kick the ball that far. Together.
Yeah.
But he's good because I got on well with Michael Owen. We obviously played at Stoke with him and I still speak to him now. He's a good guy, and I just think at the time it was just a bit of tongue in cheek. But listen, for me, it was I'm fortunate enough it went in. It was a goal against one of the best goalkeepers in the world at the time, and like you say, if we're ever bored, they could always just pull it off the Sky TV and show everybody if they ever want reminding,
Yeah, honestly, like I'm a lefty as well, and I've got a decent bit of tech, and I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
fair play. Owen as a player, I think you had one season with him. You must have had one season with him, right?
Did I have 1 or 2 seasons? I think it was only 1 season I had with him.
Yeah, like obviously he was on the back end of his career, but what was he like as a player?
Still one of the best finishers, the best finishers I've played with. Even in training, like phenomenal. Never lashed at anything, just caressed everything. Everything was in a corner. But the problem is he's hamstring, and I think his back and his knee gave up on him a little bit, and I think he fell out of love with the game at the end of it, and it was difficult for him. But he was wow, what a talent! I can imagine in his day how good he would have been. He was at times you could see now the phenomena when he was training with us. At times he was the quality he had, but when he was in his peak, he must have been unplayable. And listen, you don't win the Ballon d'Or if you're a bad player, do you? So the man's got one of them, and there's not many that get them. So he must have been a top player in his day, and that goal he scored against Argentina was incredible.
When you were growing up, what players did you look up to growing up?
The usual, the best midfielders. Roy Keane, obviously Stevie when he was a bit younger. I love watching back in the day Gary McAllister, how he played. He was a great. Yeah. Trying to think who else was there.
Would you say Gary McAllister because of the Scottish ties?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Vieira, Petit. They were all phenomenal players. They were top players as well. Makalele, Zidane. All the best players in the world at the time were brilliant. And
is there a midfielder you've come up against, or that you come against time and time again, where it's not that you don't fancy it, because I'm sure you relish any,
No, I know where you're coming. Yeah.
Is there any that you come up against where you're just like, you know what, it's going to be a tough match?
Long afternoon.
Yeah. Scott Parker.
Yeah.
He just doesn't stop.
Yeah. Just like Scotty he was a rash. Like he was on you every moment. Like just never gave you a peace, a moment's peace. And people talk about that. I'm fortunate I've played against some of the best players in the world, like Xavi, Iniesta, Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes, Giggs. But they would allow you to play a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they knew that you might give them a little back. But Scott Parker was just 100 mile an hour, snapping at you, aggressive, very good player as well.
Yeah, he could play.
So he was. I've always said he was as tough as opponent I've played against. And no, it was tough games against him when I played against him.
Yeah, I think with Scott Parker on his day, there was a time where he was unbelievable
when he played for England and was it Fulham?
Yeah, Fulham and Newcastle.
Newcastle, Chelsea, yeah.
Yeah.
He was just
Charlton.
Tottenham. So he had a no bad career, did he? But no, I would say he was like you say, he was always on. He was like a rash at times, and nice fella now, and obviously done a decent job at Fulham. So no, it's he was probably the toughest one, really.
Yeah. When you look at how football has, developed over the years, like you've been in the game a long time now.
Yeah.
Have you seen a difference in like a clear difference in tactics and the way teams shape up and just the overall, way the game is played?
I think that the younger managers and that now are making it a lot harder than it actually has to be.
Oh.
The old school ones just keep it simple. Just keep it right. Play with enjoyment and freedom, and there's so many things going on. And I just think if you keep it simple and keep it simplified for the players, it's a lot easier. And but listen, there's some top players, some managers, coming through, and everybody's different. Everybody wants to think that they have the different ideas of the game and they want to change it, and they've got their own philosophies, which is great. So that's the way football is. There's no two teams the same, because not everybody's got Messi and Ronaldo in their team. So that's what it is. So that's what separates them two from everybody else. But it's fascinating to see every different tactics and how even the top teams play against each other is great. You know what I mean? Like watching a game, Man City playing against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Liverpool know that they have to be right on it, aggressive with Man City.
Yeah.
But Pep won't change. He'll still want to play from the back and allow his team to play high and wide, and it's phenomenal. It is great to play and see.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say about people overcomplicating it, because even when you look at like a Liverpool, as good as they are,
it's not complicated.
I remember Chris Wilder coming out and just saying they just do the basics really, really well.
Very well. Yeah.
They defend. The best players defend. Virgil van Dijk, he defends before he goes and plays. Then he gets the opportunity to go and play. You've got obviously your special talents, but then you've got people like your Hendersons, Robertsons, Trent Alexanders. The top players in their own right, but they got that other side of the game. And then you've just got, Salah and Mane, who one of the most improved players over the last 2-3 years. Mane, since he's gone to Liverpool from Southampton, his numbers are incredible, and he's a top player.
I'll tell you why I'm smiling, because on this podcast, Lamin, he loves Mane.
Oh, okay.
and he's been an advocate. We're both Arsenal supporters, but he's been an advocate for Mane from the very beginning. So whenever someone talks about Mane, the smile just
comes. Yeah.
He's quality. He's he's different from what there is out there. He's worth ethic. His goal scoring record. He scored a few goals at Southampton, but not to the level that he was scoring at Liverpool. I know he's going to get more chances, but he took his game to another level. He's top quality, and he sets the tone from the front lads to go and press the game, and then Henderson and that are squeezing up behind him. He's got them well drilled. They're the best team in England at the moment, and it's for everybody else next season to catch them.
Yeah. Would you say that season with Blackpool in the Premier League was the pivotal season for you in your career?
Oh, definitely. You play well in the Championship, you do well, but when you get to that level of the Premier League, and I think I scored 14 goals in the Premier League, and I had about 5 or 6 assists. When you're going into that level and teams see that you're capable of playing at that level, then it's easier for them to sign you than it is from the Championship, So it's fortunate for me. It was one of the biggest clubs in the world that come for me at the time, and now I'm delighted to sign there.
Yeah, was that always something that you just knew that the level you belonged was the Premier? Like you just knew you could do it?
No. I always believed that I was a good player. I played at Rangers, and when I left there, I always thought that I need to take a step back to go and play regular, which I did at Blackpool, to take 2 steps forward, and that's what I done. The manager there believed in me. Ian Holloway. He said from day one, I want you to get to the Premier League. I believe that your talents are good enough to get in the Premier League. I'm going to get you to the Premier League, so that's why I want to sign you. And he was true to his word, and he did. It was great that we'd done the journey together as a manager and a coach and a group of players. And then I obviously got a good move to Liverpool, and it changed my life really, and it was great to be part of it.
How big an impact or how big of an influence was Ian Holloway in you developing as a player?
Yeah, listen, as a player and a person, he was unbelievable. He loved me as a player, so he gave me the responsibility. He made me captain when Yuli wasn't playing, and I thought I thrived on that. I took my game to another level, and that's what I was saying about the good players. I felt that when we were not playing, everybody was looking at me as the captain, right? Okay, you're going to drag us at the hole. You're going to help us, and I felt that responsibility myself, and that's what I tried to do. I tried to drag the team along, score a few goals. I think I scored 19 goals in the championship season of getting promoted, and played my part. And that's what I felt I had to do as a captain, and that's as a leader, and that's what I wanted to do. Is, like I said, still trying to now set the example and drive the team forward.
Yeah, it's funny hearing you. Well, it's not funny hearing you speak about Ian Holloway, because it's obvious just how big of an impact he would have had. But
yeah,
you know, when you do read stuff in the papers where you aren't getting along because of that Liverpool move, and that, how much of that is actually true compared to what's actually happening behind closed doors?
Listen, we never got along. He believed, and the group of players believed that I should have went to Liverpool. The club, the owner at the time, felt that in that current market, the value was not the value for me was not right. They didn't, for instance, if we'd stayed up, we would have got another 90 million. And Liverpool were willing to pay 10% now. Why would you lose that? You rather take the gamble and keep the player who's, supposedly going to be your best player and keep us up into the Premier League and get another 90 million and then sell for what they were offering. So for me as a player, it was frustrating, but I always knew that he had my back and he was helping me as well. He always kept saying, listen, I understand your position. Listen, I've been a player. It's a big move. But what to say is, when the window closes, refocus and make sure you're the best player again. Yeah. And you're still the best player from January to the summer, and that move will still be there. And he was right. And that's good man management, and having good players, good teammates around you who helped me as well get over that move that never happened. So I'm fortunate enough that I had they type of people around me.
Yeah. How much does the business of football end up interfering with, like, on the pitch matters?
It was life changing. So yeah, it would affect. But like you say, when that it never affected my performances, because when the deal never happened, I knew that I was there for the rest of the season, and like you said, I felt that I had the onus on the players. I had to, I never went around it the right way, probably trying to get the move. But then when the window closed, I then had to readapt and change my mentality to the same player I was at the start of the season. I was saying, I need to help these lads stay in the Premier League, and hopefully, I can do that. Unfortunately, we never. But my performances never dipped from the January window to the summer. I played well, and then unfortunately I got the move at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's excellent. Like, one thing that I can see from speaking to you is your mentality is just you've got
different,
that old school mentality. Got that old school mentality, and I love to see it, because I was brought up on your attitude towards the game is the biggest thing. Do you know what I mean? And how difficult is it to keep your attitude right at all times,
especially in this environment?
Oh, listen, in this environment, I'm not saying it's tough. Like when I don't play, I'm not happy. I'm not a happy guy. But come the game and that, I think it's the respect that you should have for your teammates, and the positive mentality and the mental attitude that you should have around your teammates to help them go and win the game is just as important. When you're not playing, is you should be there helping your teammate, make sure you're doing this, helping them, and that's what I think. If the manager tells me team on a Friday, I'm not happy, but come the Saturday, I'm not. It's not lingering. I'm not still face tripping me. I know I'm ready to be. Make sure you're ready, because you could be the game changer that comes on and wins you the game, and all of a sudden football changes so quickly, and that's how I see it anyway. And I just hope it's, obviously it's stood me in good stead so far. Yeah.
So we've literally covered like everything today, and Charlie,
right, thank you very much.
Like the season's coming back on Saturday, and I wish you all the best, man.
Yeah.
I wish you all
Thanks,
the best.
lads.
I wish you all the best for the future. I hope you've had fun.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, that's it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure, especially we watch football. We've seen you, week in, week out. So to have you on here telling us some of the things, it's definitely been an experience. So, but yeah, you guys. No, that's all right. Wait there. You guys listening at home, keep liking, subscribing, sharing. Get at us with all your feedback as you normally do, and we'll see you guys next week. Hold on, see you guys. Let me just